Hello there, guys. You've seen the title. We've got a tier list. So, by the way, my name is Ed Watts. I'll be presenting a show today, which is based off the new Space Wolf units. So, if you guys have been staying tuned to the content so far, I had Chris Radford as a guest on to go through all the detachments and the stratagems and the general idea of how a list should feel. This is going to be a lot more generalized in the units that I just personally think are the best, and I personally think are not the best. So, we are going to start with going from the left onwards. So we're going to start off with Wulfen. These are going to be standard, basic Wulfen. These are the guys without the Thunderhammer and Storm Shields, and we're going to see how they do as a whole. So Wulfen so far in the edition have been relatively good. I mean, they've been OC0, but they've had a relatively decent boost in the fact that any character can give them OC now, rather than just having OC0 flat. So that is interesting in the new book, and it gives them a little bit more play. So obviously, Wulfen is a general idea. They've got up to tough to 6. They have a 6 at Philippine. They are annoying. Oh no, they don't have a Philippine anymore, do they? No, they don't have a Philippine. That's a big thing. So they've lost their Philippine. They have the normal D3 blast shots. They are strength 5, AP 2 damage with 3 attacks each with sustained. It's okay, right? Like I think it's one of those if they take, and then you got the ability where if you're in engagement range. They take desk breakouts, they're -1. That as a general is okay. There's movement 9. They are fast enough to do some bits, but these guys seem very underwhelming. It's the problem with the space. Well, let's say problem. It's the trick with the Space Wolf books so far in general, and the fact that these guys are strength 5, and strength 5 as a general rule into the toughest 6 Plague Marines. There's a lot of toughest 6 about. You need to have a lot of access to lance or buffs in their own right with the lethals from Beast Slayer and all that sort of thing. So I am going to solidly put the standard Wulfen in C. This is sadness because we do like Wulfen. These are just the basic Wulfen, by the way. We've got the Thunderhammer and Storm Shield bros to go. They are a little bit better. So these guys are going to go in C for me. I think that they are cool. And I think you'll probably still see them in lists, but I think it'll be more pivoted around the idea of Wolf with Thunderhammer and Storm Shields if they lean that way. Next, we're on to Bjorn. Bjorn is pretty damn awesome, guys. He's got he's got an ability where you get 1 CP a turn. That's obviously fantastic. And he's -1 to wound. So he has lost his half damage, which is sad, but he is still relatively annoying to kill. 2 up save, 5 up invuln, 5 up Feel Pain. Annoying piece to put somewhere, and the extra CP is going to be pretty big in a lot of these detachments because some of them are quite CP hungry. So combat-wise, we're going through his profiles. So we've got his health. So we've got his combat is 6 attacks with lethal hits, strength 12, AP 2, 3 damage. Solid, love that. Hitting on 2s, obviously, because he is a hero of the Imperium. We've got the Hellfrost Cannon, which is just a strength 6 damage 2 flamer, or it's a strength 10, AP 3 damage 5, one shot, hitting on 2s. Solid. That can be used in various. It's hit or miss, right? Because it's only one shot, but it's not bad. It's pretty good. And obviously you can put the metal on instead, and you get the heavy flamer for free. So basically, this guy's an Overwatch platform as well. Is relatively scary. So he has basically 2d6 flamer shots, one with damage 2, one with damage 1, which is pretty good, especially for those pesky Eldars trying to kill your ass. So yeah, I think you're going to see this guy in quite a few lists. I don't think he's probably top of what you'd want in every list. There are lists that can function without him pretty efficiently. So, but I'm going to sit him in A because CP Gen in some of these detachments and also other detachments that you would like to run are just going to be pretty fantastic, right? Like CP Generation, we love that. We love it. It's always going to be good, and he's an annoying piece. So that is Bjorn the Fell-handed sitting comfortably in A tier. Next, we're going to go on to Ragnar, the bro. Where are you? We love you. We're going to hit the characters first, I think. We're going to hit a few more characters first. So Ragnar, if you guys don't know what the new changes are, obviously he has advanced charge and gives Headtakers advanced and charge when he's in the unit, or if he's in Blood Claws, he gets 4 rolls to wound. This makes the unit pretty bitey, especially when you've got lance access and all that sort of thing. So go through review his profile. He's got a bolt pistol. I'm not going to have to cover that. It's an AP dash pistol. Then he's got 8 attacks, hitting on 2, strength 6, AP 3 damage. That's pretty fun. And whenever he charges, he gets +2 to the attack characteristic from the Frost Fang. So he's going to have 10 attacks on the charge. So 10 attacks, strength 6, AP 3, 2 damage. This is going to be really good. AP 3 as well. There's not loads of this throughout the book. without strat help. So it's going to be pretty good, especially with some blood claws as well. He can go into knights with lance and really do a number on them. And knights are going to be probably going to be one of the new problems, one of the few. And yeah, so this guy is sitting comfortably in S. He's the boy. He's awesome. We love Ragnar. He's also one of the cooler models out there. I think he's a very dynamic pose and that sort of thing. But also, I think you're going to see him in a lot of lists because giving Headtakers advance and charge when they normally do not have it, and also Ragnar can then have a prey target as well using the Wolfguard Headtakers rules, which is really cool. And yeah, so that's where I'm going to put Ragnar. He's going to sit comfortably right there. Next, we are on to Arjac Rockfist, another hero of the Imperium. As you can see, there's a theme with this. So this guy has had a glow up with his model. New model looks absolutely amazing. Like he's way better than the old one, especially now it's primary size and stuff. So he is your anti-monster vehicle guy. That is effectively what his job is. And he's got a 6-inch hammer, which is damage 3, strength 8, AP 2, anti-monster and anti-vehicle 3 up, and it's assault. That's fun. Then we have anti-monster, anti-vehicle 3 up for his attack, for his combat. Also precision, which can come up. 5 attacks in on 2, strength 8, AP 2, 3 damage. Flat 3 damage. We love flat 3 damage. There's a lot of flat 3 damage that you would want in the meta right now. So yeah, we like that. Next, we're going to go, while this model is leading unit, each time a model that is destroyed by a melee attack, basically they have fight on death on a 4-up. So you roll 1d6 on a 4-up, do not remove the destroyed model from play. The destroyed model can fight and the attacking units finish making attacks, and then it's removed from play. That's pretty good. Fight on death for his units, really cool. Also, alongside Wolfguard Terminators, when you can make a -1 to wound and stuff, can make them quite tanky. And then each time this model makes a melee attack that targets a character unit, you can reroll the hit and reroll the wound roll. Obviously, that makes him very reliable. There's a lot of character-led units right now. So yeah, he's your killing characters. He's just a hero, right? He wants to kill monsters and kill big named characters, which is really cool. However, that being said, he's probably not one of the most competitive picks out of this book. I think Wolfguard Terminators as a whole probably won't be seen in a vast quantity because I'll go on to their issues later on. But I think for that reason he is going to be sitting. I think it's going to sound a bit harsh, but we have to put something in D, and I think there's not going to be many because I do like a lot of the rest of the stuff that's available. So we are going to put him uncomfortably in D. Fantastic new model, cool little set of rules. But the units that he's alongside aren't really going to see much play, and also he's just a touch too expensive for what he does. So that is Arjac Rockfist, guys. Next, we're on to the Wolf Priest. This is one of the new models from the sets, from the set itself. So this guy, he has a bolt pistol. He has an Absolver bolt pistol at damage 2, AP 1. That's fun. And he has Crow's Arcanum, 5 attacks, strength 6, AP 1, 2 damage. Fantastic. It's a chaplain's profile, nothing too surprising there. And then while this model is leading a unit, in your command phase, you can res 1 destroyed bodyguard. So that's like if he's in Grey Hunt, he gets 1 back. This can also be used in the, I think it's Hunt Beast Slayer, where you can basically give him an enhancement to join Wulfen. Then you can bring back a Wulfen that way as well. But also in Beast Slayer, you can just put one in the Armor of Contempt, with an Armor of Contempt enhancement, and suddenly they're really hard to kill, and you bring 1 back and you have all the reactive moves, which is absolutely fantastic. And he adds 1 to wound. He's a chaplain, right? So +1 to wound in this attachment is going to be really important because you don't really have you have a lot of strength 5. So to kill big things, even to kill Plague Marines or Death Shroud or something, you'll need to have some form of lance in there to be able to get your damage through. So I think this guy's going to be in a lot of lists. I think he's very good. I'm gonna put him in S tier. He's absolutely great. I don't think you're going to see many lists running not running a Wolf Priest. He is really good. So I really like him for that. Right, then we're going to go on to the Iron Priest. This guy, you know what they thought that they didn't put enough in the back end of the edition? Rapid fire. So what they did is they put rapid fire on all the worldiest guns, and they were like, you know what else needs it? Space Wolves. This guy has an ability, which is basically his Omnisar ability. Obviously, he's a lone up within range of a vehicle as well, so that's a nice little trick. And effectively, he chooses a selected vehicle within 3 inches of him in the command phase. It reses D3 wounds, and it gets the rapid fire 1 ability on all of its guns. This is very good, guys. So effectively, imagine all those high damage, high AP, and goes good shots like on lances, repulsors, predator annihilators, ballistas. All of those getting rapid fire on their guns is very violent. Like you can basically turn a predator destructor into, I think, 6 las cannon shots, 2 hunter killer shots, so 8 anti-tank shots from one 135-point hull, which is nuts. And I think a lot of the Space Wolf lists that you're going to be seeing, mainly just down to this guy's datasheet ability, is going to be leaning into a bit of a mixed arms race. So either you're going to have I don't think you're going to have many skews one way or the other. Maybe a skew towards combat, but I think mainly you're going to be seeing the Iron Priest in a role to just create hyper efficient tanks that'll just do a lot of damage for what they are meant to do. So that's where I think this guy will sit, and that's what his role will be. I think 2 of them with like 3 ballistas, or 2 of them with some good shooting is absolutely fantastic. So yeah, so I think the likelihood is you'll see him in most lists, because if you want some shooting in your Space Wolves, they just make them that much more efficient. I've put a lot in S tier so far. Maybe it's just I love all the units, but hey, this guy does have to sit in S tier. In fact, I'm going to put him ahead of Ragnar. Yeah, so far I think the Iron Priest data sheet is probably one of the most powerful ones in the Codex release so far. From what I've seen, obviously there's going to be things that I haven't thought of that people will come up with, and they're going to be quite potent as well. But the combination with the rapid fire on some of these hulls is going to be very, very violent. So we'll probably see lots of people using that to a pretty upsetting effect, especially in these shooting detachments as well. Like if you wanted to take Iron Storm and take guns, Iron Priest are great at it. If you wanted to, even in like Stormlance, when you've got, you can give a vehicle assault or the hammer strikes and stuff, like they become very, very potent. So that is the Iron Priest. Next we go on to the Wolfguard Battle Leader, another model from the new set. So the Wolfguard Battle Leader is extremely good. I feel like there's a common theme here where the characters are very good and the units that they're going to be going into are a little bit average. So the Wolfguard Battle Leader, we're going to start with his shooting. He literally has a plasma pistol or a mastercrafted bolt pistol or a carbine, but you basically always want just a plasma or a bolt pistol, either or. Then he has a mastercrafted power weapon, so he's got 7 attacks, strength 5, AP 2, 2 damage. That's nuts, by the way, 7 attacks for a little dude. He's got a lot of attacks. Then when he's leading a unit, weapons have sustain 1, fantastic. And each time this model makes a melee attack within 6 inches, reroll a hit roll of a 1. So this guy can create little situations where your units aren't necessarily reliant on Oath, which is very, very good. Like you only have 1 Oath turn. You're gonna put an Oath on something and take it off the board, hopefully, if that's what your plan is. And then the Wolfguard Battle Leader can, put pressure on somewhere else, and it also means the combat from him and his unit are very good without having to use Oath. So it just creates these little hyper efficient units, because sustained and reroll 1s basically means that you're hitting on just shy of auto hitting effectively, right? Like because like 3s sustained is 2s, rerolling 1s, that's a little bit more efficiency. So you should get a really high value of efficiency out of the unit that he goes with, especially if it's like a unit of 6 Headtakers with like a bajillion attacks, which we're going to go on to later. And then his second ability is when he dies, fire on death and a 2-up, because why not, right? Like that's absolutely fantastic. Like he's basically a double trade piece, because it means he's going to be fighting on death. He's going to have 6 to 7 attacks. He's likely going to be hitting on 2s rolling 1s with sustained. And yeah, he's very bitey. And obviously the units he can join are Wolfguard Headtakers, Bloodclaws, and Grey Hunters. I think it's unlikely you're going to be seeing these guys in Bloodclaws, because he doesn't really make those monstrously efficient. You're going to be probably seeing this guy in Headtakers, because it makes them very, very efficient. So going on, he's got a 3-up armor, 4-up invuln, the usual stuff. He's a Capitan. So he, for me, I'm going to put a lot in S tier, aren't I? I'm going to put him in S tier again. I'll put him just shy of the Iron Priest, in between Ragnar and the Iron Priest. I think he's very, again, I think he's one of the better data sheets that they've released. Also, helps that his model is very, very cool looking. It's got all of the Space Wolf emblems. And we carry on with the theme that Space Wolf characters are going to be really good. I think we're going to start off with a lot in S, and then slowly but surely we'll work our way down, and it'll all be balanced out. And then we're going to go on to, we've got some Blood Claws. So Blood Claws, we are using the old photos now just so you can differentiate between the Blood Claws and the Grey Hunters. These guys are going to be the Blood Claws, and these guys are going to be the Grey Hunters. So Blood Claws are effectively your character delivery systems for characters that aren't going to be going into Headtakers, because it gives them advance and charge, it gets them up the board, they have a good move as well, and they can be taken in units of 20. So these guys are probably going to be seen in a environment where you're going to have units of 20 of them, and all that sort of thing, and they're going to be putting pressure on areas with advance and charge as well. They can reach across the board in pretty violent ways. And their actual attacks themselves, they have chainsaws, right? It's going to be like one guy with a power weapon, strength 5 would be 2, 1 damage, one guy with chainsaws, strength 4 would be 1, 1 damage, and they each got 4 attacks each. Obviously, there's access to lance and stuff in there as well. You've got a couple of plasma pistols that you're allowed to have. And the main thing is these guys are going to be advancing and charging and putting something in. A good application of this is Ragnar. Ragnar in a unit of these is very, very good. Gives him reroll wounds and the unit reroll wounds. So suddenly when you look, if you're at 10, you've got like 40 attacks. Probably rerolling hits because you're going to be oathing it. And then rerolling wounds. So yes, it's strength 4 AP1, but it's going to hurt something. And there's going to be a squish unit somewhere you can punch, unless it's Chaos Knights, in which case you just get those 6s, baby. And yeah, so Grey Hunters are, I think, going to be quite popular, but I think it's only going to be 1 or 2 units. And I also think that they, personally myself, their damage output is not that great, especially with the meta evolving around them. They're going to be wounding most things they want to be killing on 5s. They're going to be, or 6s, either or. But they are great character delivery systems. So I'm going to sit them on the notion still that they actually serve a role in the fact that they want to get characters places. I'm going to put them in A. So that's where I'm going to put them. These guys, again, you want 1 or 2 units to send your characters with. Like if you wanted to take Ulrik, for example, which we'll cover in a little bit, you're going to want to have him in a unit so that he can get the advance and charge. And also the buffs he gives to them actually makes them a little bit more bitey. This is all things to remember. So yeah, I'm going to put those guys in A. Moving on to Ulrik, as he's right there, and I've just mentioned him. This guy has had a little bit of a nerf, but also sort of like a side nerf, because he still does a pretty good job. So first of all, we're going to start off with his stats. We've got 4 wounds as a chaplain, 3 up armor, 4 bim bum, and he's got a 5 up, 6 up feeling pain, 6 up feeling pain. So he's got 6 up feeling pain. Plasma pistol, 5 attacks, strength 6 AP2, 2 damage. His crows is actually AP2, which is cool. And he's also got anti-monster and anti-vehicle 4 up. That's also very cool. You can go into Blood Claws, Grey Hunters, or Headtakers. So this is going to be a very common theme. Your characters basically have those 3 to choose from unless they're a Terminator. And then you've got Slayer's Oath. So at the start of the battle round, select one of the following keywords to be this model Slayer's Oath. Character, monster, vehicle. The first time this model's unit destroys a unit with this model's Slayer Oath keyword, your detachment has if your detachment rule has a saga, until the end of the battle, this model receives the benefits of that detachment's rule as if that saga has been completed. So that will mean, like, if you've got Saga of the Bold, you can get the reroll hit and wound and damage and that sort of thing. Or if you have the Beast Slayer, you'll have lethals all the time. That's effectively where that's relating to. And while this model is in the unit, each time a model in this unit makes a melee attack, add 1 to the hit roll. And each time that attack targets the unit with the model Slayer of keyword, add 1 to the wound roll. Again, this is a +1 to wound. This is a +1 to wound like ability, so this is always going to be very powerful. But it's the units he's going to be joining. Like, I feel like the reason why Ulrik's going to struggle a little bit, because if he wants to go to Headtakers, for example, to give them +1 to wound, which you can get with strats and stuff anyway. But if they wanted to do that, you'd be losing the Wolfguard Battle Leader, which gives them both reroll 1s and sustained. And I think the Wolfguard Battle Leader is cheaper by about 5 points, because it's only 65 or something silly. So bearing that in mind, Ulrik doesn't really have a place in units unless you just really want to take Ulrik. So for me, that would lead to him sitting pretty in. We're going to put him in B tier. No, we're going to go with C tier, I think, still. Because I think, as cool as he is, I don't think he's going to see much play. Because you can put him in Headtakers, give him +1 to wounded, etc. But with Lance being access to anyway, you might see him more of the Space Wolf natural detachments to try and trigger sagas for his unit. But again, it is only for his unit. So it's not like he gives it to the army, and the unit that he's with is going to be either one unit of Headtakers that has just killed something for a trade, or it's going to be so effectively he's going to go out and trade and then probably get killed, or his unit's going to get neutered enough that them benefiting from the saga might not really benefit them enough to see Ulric's worth throughout the game. So that is Ulrik. Now we're going to go on to something. We're going to go back off characters again because we want to mix this up a little bit. That's going to be fun. So we've covered Blood Crawls. Let's go on to Grey Hunters. These guys have had an interesting glow up. So effectively these guys have a lot of attacks, like a lot of shots and a lot of attacks. So they have like 2 shots each with rapid fire 1 from their bolt guns, and then they have like 4 attacks each with their chainsaws. So each one's going to be doing like 7 attacks on the way in, with shooting and combat and a grenade. So these guys are so close to being very, very good because they're OC3. They get real wounds of a 1, and they get full rerolls to wound if you're on the objective. So you get real ones to wound all the time. And if the target is within range of objective marker, you get full rerolls to wound. This makes them pretty darn good, right? Like, I think as a data sheet, they are really solid. It's 10 Marines for 180 points. Also solid, like 90 points per model. But also, I think the reason why you're not going to see them as much is the fact that outside of certain detachments, they don't have the advanced charge. They don't have assault weapons. So they're not rarely. If they spend a CP on the advanced charge when you have it, you're going to be, you're going to be not shooting your weapons all the way anyway, and then they just sort of turn into Grey Hunters that you're spending a CP for. The OC3 is really cool. I'll give them that. The OC3 is very, very good. However, I feel that these guys I think they're going to have very specific roles and very specific detachments to use that OC3. Or like a grindy sort of teams list, right? I think that's what we're going to be seeing these guys use for more than most. And that's where I think we're going to be seeing it. So bearing that in mind, we can go on to where I'm going to put them. So I think we're going to sit these in... I think we're going to sit these in C, I just don't feel like they're going to be... I think they're just a touch too expensive right now. Yeah, let's actually go with B. I think they're better than Wulfen. I think that you'll see them more. But basic Wulfen. I think they're better than basic Wulfen. I think you will see them more than most. So yeah. So basically, these guys have a lot of attacks. They get the rerolls to wound. They're gonna be have a place somewhere. I just don't really see where that's gonna be yet. Just because I feel like either Blood Claws or a Headtaker's gonna replace them in a way. Maybe a time where the Iron Priest doesn't give rapid fire anymore, or gives him something else instead, or it has a slight nerf or a side nerf or a change, then maybe there'll be an argument when you have more infantry to have some Grey Hunters somewhere to give access to rerolls to into other characters. But also another thing is they're a Space Wolf unit, so you can't put characters in there either. They are good, but I feel like they're going to be suffering from not having any other characters in there either. So they sort of limits their use that way as well. Okay, so they're going to sit in B. Next, let's go on to Wolfguard Headtakers. These guys are very, very cool. So start with some stats. We got the Headtakers come with some hunting wolves if you so wish. They start with a 7-inch move, +4, 3 up save, 3 wounds, leadership 6 flip. They are Blade Guard, but they do get they get 7-inch move instead. The dogs themselves, toughness 4, 6 up save, 1 wound, leash bait. For the hunting wolves, they OC 0, but can be OC 1 if they're within range of a character, I believe. Yep, there we go. Yep. So within 6 inches of a character, they get, and as long as they're not battle shocked, they have OC 1. Standard profiles, that's all fine. It's really cool that they have the wolves go along with the Wolfguard Headtakers. That is very cool. I think that's very flavorful. These are sort of hunting in packs. So guns, they have a heavy bolt pistol. Cool. Let's move on. So they have mastercraft power weapons. They have basically you have choices. You either have a mastercraft power weapon, which is 4 attacks, strength 5, AP 2 damage, hitting on 3s, or with a storm shield, so you get 4 bim bum, Or you have 6 attacks, hitting on 3s, strength 5, maybe 2 damage, but you lose the Storm Shield. Now, I've seen people like it either way, but personally, I will be leaning towards using double weapon. Because once they go out and trade for the thing they're going to be killing, they're going to be sat in front of an army. Now, for me, I would rather have the efficiency of those 6 extra attacks with hitting on 3s, rerolling 1s, and sustain, because you'll have the Wolfguard Battle Leader as well, and do more damage that way. Because effectively, their extra attacks can pretty much lift a unit of Marines on their own. Well, can lift a unit of Marines on their own. The mass dictates more like 4, I think, or maybe less, maybe 3, but it's having that extra output is very, very powerful. And obviously, if you have the Storm Shield, you get the 4 beam one. So let's go on to one of their 3 of their abilities on the data sheet. At the start of the declare battle formation, this split into 2 units. So the Headtakers and the Hunting Wolves, and they start with their new starting strengths accordingly. So effectively, they split. At the end of the battle, so at the start of the battle, select, and this is Headhunters. This is their cool rule. Select 1 unit from your opponent's army to be the unit's quarry. Weapons equipped by the Headtaker models in that unit have the devastating wound and precision abilities while targeting its quarry. And each time this unit's quarry is destroyed, select a new enemy unit to be this unit's quarry. Now, a good player is going to make you really work hard to, use this to any real effect. Because if it's if it's an army with lots of little units, they can be like, oh, I don't need to use that unit yet. I'll send the next one. But it is very good if they have like a Death Star and they're like, well, I have like, I don't know, let's say for example, Helbrecht, Tanias's Bones guy, and 20 Crusaders. You're like, well, if you put it forward, that's a quarry of 3 units. So I'm going to run at you and lift that unit and Helbrecht with relative ease. And the precision also is really big because, if you got a unit of 3 of them, that's 18 attacks, hitting on 2s, hitting on 3s, rolling 1s, sustained. If you lance, you're winning on 2s. Suddenly looking at like 18 odd wounds with precision, which can be rather violent. And also the fact that this is their data sheet ability, so it will work in all of the detachments, means that you've got a lot of use out of them in other detachments as well, which is really good. And then the Hunting Hounds, if the unit is within 6 inches of one or more Space Wolf character models, excluding Wolfen models, if this unit is not battle shocked, Hunting Wolves have the objective characteristic control of 1. So yeah, so basically that is the unit as a whole. These guys are really, really good. Their damage is way more than Blade Guard. Their reach is longer. They only by an inch, but still counts. Their character that they have attached to them make them exceptionally efficient with sustained and reroll 1s. These guys are gonna sit for me. It's gotta be an S tier. This is where they go above. So I think these guys will sit even after Ragnar. Yeah, I think even after Ragnar. There we go. So yeah, so after Ragnar, just before the Wolfguard Battle Leader. This is where I'm going to sit them. So yeah, these guys are going to be seen in pretty much every Space Wolf list, right? I think you're going to see them in a lot because they're some of the most efficient combat that the book has and has access to. So yeah, hopefully you guys have a lot of fun with them, because I've had a lot of fun with them in the practice games I've played so far myself, and I've had a lot of fun building the ones I've got. So let's move on to something that has been part of the game for so long, and we love them so much, the Thunderwolf Cavalry. So these guys had their moment of shining glory with the Stormlance list, with the captain on Thunderwolf and the lieutenant in the Wolfguard Battle Leader on Thunderwolf in the unit for their reactive move and Blood Surge. And these guys made a mess of Guard, RIP, certain Guard players, and they were absolutely brilliant at destroying Guard armies and tagging them up, or shooting armies in general, and they could rapid ingress turn 1, all this sort of stuff. Obviously, all that's gone now, because all the characters who were mounted are gone. So they have just disappeared that way. But they are also still a toughness 6, 4 up invuln, damage 2 up to a damage 3, because their new profile is 4 attacks, hitting on 3s, strength 5, AP 2 damage, and on the charge they get +1 damage, so they actually get through it from unit of 3, you get 12 attacks at flat damage 3, and 9 attacks at damage 2, strength 5, AP 1. So these guys are still very good, and they've got a 12-inch move now, which is really, really cool, and they've become 20 points cheaper, so they're 100 points per unit now. Obviously, you got some plasma pistols and stuff if you wanted them, but you just take the storm shields for the 4-up in 1 because, you know, it's 4-up in 1. And these guys are going to be probably around quite a bit. I will be personally using them because, number one, I painted them for my Grade to Greatness, and I think they're going to be quite popular. Unfortunately, there's no characters that can go in these guys anymore, which is a shame because they were really cool, but they are still very good now. So I think you'll still see quite a lot of play out of them. So for me, these guys are going to sit in A. They're not quite some of the best units there, but they are certainly very solid, and you will probably see them quite a bit. So, that is Thunderwolf Cavalry. Next, we're going to go on to Wolfguard Terminators. These guys had a bit of a glow-up, to be fair, if not with some caveats, but we'll go on to them. So effectively, these guys have toughest 5, 2-up save, 4-up invuln, 3 wounds, leadership 6, standard Terminators. Fine. Except they do move 6 rather than 5, which is interesting. Then you can have an assault cannon in there. You can have mastercraft power weapons. You can have either mastercraft power weapon, power fist, and you've actually got the relic great axe back, which is actually a thing you can have, and that is actually damage 3. And the Wolfguard pack leader can have that, so you can have 1 relic great axe in the unit. And all of them can have storm shields, which will bring them up to 4 wounds apiece. And they have their day sheet ability itself is -1 to wound. So I think these guys are so close to greatness, so close to greatness because, you know, you've got like a load of like Terminators with -1 to wound. I think these guys are gonna be in a list somewhere. I don't know what the list is gonna be yet, but they're gonna be in a list somewhere that is gonna be exceptionally good. I don't know what it is. Well, I say this like it's certain. I'm hoping they're going to be in a list somewhere that's exceptionally good, so I can use them. But I'm still going to be using my unit of 5 in my Crusade games because I think they're going to be really cool. But again, they do suffer from the same problem in the fact that you can't have standard characters join them, so you can't have a librarian in there, which I'm sad about. I know that there's no librarians on Fenris, but you know these Wolfguard Terminators with a librarian, a Terminator librarian would be awesome right now. But unfortunately, this is not the world we live in. But yeah, it's also the -1 to wound is only if you're a higher strength, obviously. I say obviously, sometimes it's not, but that one is. And yeah, I like them. They're cute. I think they're going to sit probably in B because I think even if I think there's just not that much of an argument for them right now. I think they're close to being very good. I think with a couple of changes, they could become a real nuisance, like if they're a little bit cheaper or something. But currently, I think they're just a bit too pricey for what they are aiming to do with their role. Yeah, so that's Wolfguard Terminators. We're going to go on to the little puppies, Fenrisian Wolves. These guys are 40 points, and they are action monkeys because you can put them within 6 or something, and they become OC1. So this basically becomes like an OC5, like OC5 unit to deny primary with if you have a unit within 6 behind a wall, like on these new UKTC missions. And so you do new UKTC packs. If you could just have a character an inch away from the wall, throw out the Fenrisian Wolves and be like, there's a 5 OC. And if they don't put enough OC on there, you can be like, here's 40-point unit, I'll deny the primary. Cool. And then you move on with your life. And try to exist till the end of the game. And yeah, these guys I think are really good, but I don't think you're going to be seeing many of them right now because all the lists that you're seeing are going to be quite tight anyway. So I'm going to put these guys firmly into C. Yeah, I'll go C. So he's going to go into C. All right, next we're going to go on to, let's have a look at Big Boy Logan. Let's go to Big Boy Logan. He's had a massive glow up with his model. He is an absolute beast now. So he's got 6-inch move as well. He's toughness 5. He has a 2-up save, 4-up invuln, and 8 wounds for leadership 6. He has a Storm Bolter. Yay. And he has the Axe of Morkai, which is going to be awesome. So he's got 6 attacks. This is basically 2 profiles, either the solid attacks or the sweep. So he has 6 attacks at strength 8, AP 2, 3 damage, or 10 attacks at strength 6, AP 2, 1 damage. And then his Tyrannic and Fenrir, which is the extra attacks, is 6 attacks, strength 5, AP 1, 1 damage, and they hit on 2s. which is cool because they're the dogs in the list do not. And then once per battle in your movement phase this is the High King of Fenris. You can select one friendly Space Wolves unit in your strat reserve. If you do so, until the end of the phase, for the purpose of setting that unit on the battlefield, treat it as being the battle round as being one higher than it is. So that means you can basically deep strike turn one with like Space Wolf Terminators, but it is only a Space Wolf unit. You also can't use it to rapid ingress because it does say in your movement phase. And each time your opponent targets this unit with a stratagem, and effectively has a Vect Aura. This is cool. So with the life that Chaos Light Knights lead now with -1 damage, and you have a lot of damage too, making that cost 3 CP is going to be really important in certain aspects. However, he's very expensive. He moves 6. He doesn't have much access to advance and charge in terms of the Space Wolf detachments anyway. He can go to Terminators, which we've discussed, probably aren't the best choice right now. I think Logan is fine. I think he has a role. I think he has a very specific role in teams lists. If you wanted to take him, you'd be justified, right? It's not a bad thing to take him. But for me, I'm going to sit him comfortably in B. By the way, I am going to be running him because of the new model. But he will sit firmly in B for me. Just because I think he's not quite him with the big leagues yet. But he's close, and I think there's an argument for him. But I just don't think he's as good as other things. But I do think he's better than Grey Hunters. So I think he's probably top of B. He's so close, and the Terminators are above Grey Hunters as well. So yeah, that's Logan Grimnar. So let's go on to Njal Stormcaller. This guy has again had a really cool glow up. He's just replaced his model not to have Terminator armor, just as I made my Njal with Terminator armor. So we love that for ourselves. And this guy is, I think, pretty good, right? So I'm going to go into it. So he's got ranged weapons. He's got Living Lightning, which fires sustained 2d6, strength 7, AP 1 damage, 24-inch range. Or he overcharges it for 2d6 shock, strength 7, AP 1 damage, but they're both sustained 2. So that is interesting. Obviously, sustained 2 becomes quite swingy. You can either do loads or do nothing. And then his attacks in combat is Staff of the Stormcaller, Psychic, sustained 2, 4 attacks, hit on 3s, strength 7, AP 1, d3 damage. A bog stick. And then he's got a 7-inch move. It's because he's out of his Terminator armor now, toughness 4, 3 up armor, 4 up in 4 wounds, leadership 6. He's a librarian. Alright, Windwalker, Psychic. When this model is leading unit, ranged weapons have the Assault ability. And each time a unit advances, do not make an advance roll. Instead, until the end of the phase, add 6 to the move characteristics of that model. This guy feels like he's very good on paper, doesn't he? Because you can basically go, right, here's 20 blood claws that will move like 13 and charge you. But realistically, I'm not sure whether he'll be taken as much as I feel like he will, because also in like Headtakers is very cool, because in like if you have Stormlights, you can like almost move like out of transport, you can move a unit of Headtakers 16 inches, which is a very long way. So it does give you, and it also gives you a very reliable primary denial piece at some point if you put him with some Grey Hunters and stuff. So I think he's gonna be quite cool. So Njal, I'm gonna sit him at the bottom of A. I think he's very cool. Is he the best? Not by a long stretch. But is he cool? Yes. And I think he's better than a better choice than some of the other options, because it will give you play with the detachments you want to use, which is interesting, right? Because I think if you wanted to run a lot of blood claws, Njal's good. If you wanted to use character liver systems, Njal's good, because that little Njal piece is very annoying for people to deal with, and also the reach from it makes your opponent play a completely different game sometimes, which is very powerful. So yeah, that's Njal. Let's go on to, this is going to be the Venerable Dreadnought first. We're going to cover the Venerable Dreadnought first, because it's nice and easy. So this guy has all the normal Dreadnought things. He's got the options of an Assault Cannon, Heavy Flamer, Hellfrost Cannon, which is cool. The Hellfrost Cannon is very, very good. It's the same thing that Bjorn has. Multi-Melter and Storm Bolter. Then he's got Dreadnought Combat Weapon as option, which is just Strength 5, hit on 3s, Strength 12, AP 2, 3 damage, or a Great Axe, which is 6 attacks, Strength 10, AP 2, D6 plus 1 damage, or a Sweep for 12 attacks, 3 to hit, Strength 6, AP 2, 1 damage. So I like the Grey Axe. I think it's better. The sweep profile at the moment is, I think, a very useful thing as well. And within 6, he gives +1 to advance and charge. He's too expensive, guys. he's toughest 9, his toughest 9, 8 wounds, and is basically he is everything that people are planning to kill right now. I think he's just one of these pieces where if he doesn't give anything to the rest of the army around it, like Bjorn does with the extra CP and stuff, it's basically not negligible. So for me, Venerable Dreadnought will sit in D pretty safely. I just don't think they're that good, unfortunately. Because as I say, they're cool in theory. They've got some guns. It's nice, but they're everything that Chaos Knights are trying to kill right now, which is a tough thing, especially without having an invuln as well. A lot of armies will just lift them off. Like a Magnus will kill one, a Mutalith could just one-shot one pretty reasonably as well. It's quite scary. So I would sit that. I'd put them down until they get either cheaper or the meta around them shifts. So that's the Venerable Dreadnought. Next, we've gone to the Wolfen Dreadnought. Now, we've got the Murderfang is slightly bigger on the left here. We're going to use him as Murderfang because the Wolfen Dreadnought and Murderfang are basically the same picture. So we're going to go with Wolfen Dreadnought. So the Wolfen Dreadnought, I think you see where I'm going with this, is going to have the exact same issue as the Venerable, except he does have a Blood Surge, which is really fun. So each time this model is selected to shoot, after this unit has shot, if this model has lost 1 or more wounds as a result of the attack, this model can make a bestial rage. If you roll a d6, adding 2 to the result, this model can move the number of inches up to the result, but must finish that move as close as possible to the closest enemy unit. In doing so, this model can be moved within engagement range, which is obviously cool. And if this model is equipped with 2 melee weapons, it has 20. Cool. So he's going to suffer the same issue, for sure. He's going to suffer the exact same issues as the other Dreadnought. But the Blood Surge does make him a little bit more interesting. So I think I'm going to sit him probably above Arjac in D. Because I still think he'll have these same issues. Because, again, everyone's planning to kill knights. So the Wolfen Dreadnoughts will not live. The Film of Pain 6-up's nice, but every Imperial Knight ever has that. So, and then we're on to Murderfang. Murderfang, toughest 9, 8 wounds, 6 leadership 6. He can reroll advance and charges. He has a Film of Pain 6-up. At the start of the fight phase, each time this model invulnerable targets a friendly. Each time an attack targets a friendly wolf model within 6 of this model. If that model is destroyed by a result of an attack, you can fight on death. It's fine. I think it's fine. Like I think he's. I know like a stuck record, but the Dreadnoughts aren't going to do well at the moment. But the issue for Murderfang right now is he's got attacks sustained, great. But the biggest thing is that he lost his fight again thing. That fight again thing was amazing. Like effectively what the Hellbrutes have now, he could just charge something, hit it, get hit again, and just keep going. So for me, So for me, Murderfang, it's Murderfang. I can't put him in D. My brain telling me I can't. Let's put him in C. So keep Murderfang away from the D section. And then we are on to Thunderwolves with Thunderhammers. Sorry, not Thunderwolves. Wulfen with Thunderhammers. There we go. Lots of thunder in that name. So these guys are the Thunderhammer and Storm Shields. So so we're going to go on to the bit of a boring thing. So in the fight, this is their ability, their issue ability. In the fight phase, after this unit is fought, select one monster or vehicle unit hit by one of those attacks. At the end of the next turn, that enemy unit is suppressed. While the unit is suppressed, each time a model in that unit makes an attack, subtract 1 from the hit roll. That is cool. That's cool. But I fear not useful enough. But that's not their selling point. This is their selling point. So they've got 2 attacks with their Thunderhammer, and they're anti-monster and anti-vehicle 3-up. Hitting on 3, strict 5, AP 2, 3 damage, and then they've got the frag launcher as usual. Their movement 9, tough 6, 4 bomb, 4 bimvun, 2 wounds. So these guys are so close to greatness, but the Wulfen just are missing 1 attack each. Like 2 attacks is just not enough. And but then people can argue that the anti-monster, anti-vehicle 3-up does help in the fact that they can kill big things now. And there's an argument in the fact that if you're trying to skew a list to try and take out like the Chaos Knights or the Imperial Knights, that they have a really cool role. But would I want to take them over Logan? Probably, actually. I would want to take them over Logan. But would I want to take them over Thunderwolves? Probably not. So I am going to sit Wulfen. Oh, sorry, I didn't. Yeah, I mentioned the damage 3. So they can be used in certain circumstances in a very like a skewed list to try and take out anti-vehicles, and they are tough. They're tough to 6, which is useful. But I'm going to sit them in the very, very top of B. So close to A, but not quite there. So yeah, that's my tier list, guys, for the new Space Wolves. We're gonna have the Iron Priest, Wolfguard Battle Leader, Headtakers, Ragnar, and Wolf Priest all sit pretty in S tier. Bjorn the Fell-handed, Bloodclaws, Thunderwolves, and Njal in the A tier. Wulfen with Thunderhammers and Storm Shields, Logan, Wolfguard, Terminators, and Grey Hunters will be sitting pretty in B tier. C tier will be Wulfen without the Thunderhammer and Storm Shields with their normal claws, Ulrik, Fenrisian Wolves, and Murderfang. And D tier will be the Wolfen Dreadnought, Arjac, and the Venerable Dreadnought, guys. So that is my tier list for you all. I hear that you guys like them, so I thought I would do one for the new Space Wolf stuff. Keep in touch for more Space Wolf related content. We're going to be doing list breakdown and analyses when the new book comes out as well. We're going to be really on top of this because I love my Space Wolves, so I'd like to give you guys as much content as possible. Please remember to like and subscribe to the video below. Also a bit of self-promotion. We also offer coaching, which you can find out from the website as well, which we'll be leaving the link below. And yeah, well, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next video. See you later, guys.